I'm never going to get tired of seeing that intro. Shout out to the great Mike Curlin for putting that together. I'm going to be playing that until people are tired of seeing it. So always shout out to you, my man. But we are back for the Fantasy 15. I'm D. Mendy here with my buddy, Micah Henry, the new NFBC Edge guy. Micah, congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. It feels good to see that your work is kind of recognized,
Yeah, I mean, everybody I think that knows fantasy baseball knows what you're doing with the Micah notes. So much deserved. Your hard work definitely paid off. And I know I've been talking to you for a while and just watching all the stuff that you do on Twitter. I'm really happy to see that they gave that to you.
Thanks, my man. I appreciate it.
Of course. Well, while Micah's accolades are definitely deserved to be decorated, I know everybody here is tuning in to hear some prospect talk. And today we were talking about two of the best young rookie arms in the game, which are Alek Manoah and Logan Gilbert. Remember, in these Fantasy 15 series, we're going to be doing player debates, rest of season projections, potential in-season pickup advice, and more, all within 15 minutes. So we thought a great second episode would be breaking down these two fine gentlemen that you see on the screen right now. So, Michael, without further ado, let's go into the guy that everybody broke the bank for with their fab budgets. And let's start with Alek Manoah. What did you see from Alek Manoah in his first start and then potentially his second start? And then what do you see for the rest of season outlook for this guy?
Well, there, people were like, it was because faced a kind of, mediocre type lineup, which the back end of that lineup was kind of mediocre. But at the end of the day, it was all about what he did on the mound. He had a strong command. You could see it, back door, front doors type sliders, nice sequencing with his change up with his fastball. Fastball, I think, touched around 97 miles per hour, which is pretty decent. He has good movement on his pitches as well, and he knows how to pitch. You can tell when a guy had just like good, pitch ability, when they can just get on the mound and just, know how to attack certain hitters, left-hand hitters, right-hand hitters, that type of thing. And he has that. And, he's not going to, his last start, he allowed three home runs to the Marlins in that, kind of home run friendly ballpark. So, I mean, I'm not putting much into that. I'm putting everything into, the talent that he shows when he's on the mound. Like this guy knows how to pitch. I think it's only a matter of time where he has like a stretch of starts where he's just like dominant start after dominant start. I don't know if it happens this year, but I mean, it's coming for sure in his future.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the guy pitch. Like, there are some people that like you were saying, that just have it, and just the way he throws, like overpowering Judge like that. He's a rookie hitter making one of the best in the game. Just look absolutely silly, right? What do you think? What do you project from him for rest of season? Is he a mid-threes ERA guy with like a K per 9? What do you think as far as fantasy wise he could give you?
I'm a little worried about the innings, because how the Blue Jays are with kind of being conservative with their rookies. Nate Pearson, they're not really rushing him out there. I think they'll be kind of the same with this guy. I don't think he'll be a guy that you really want to count on in the fantasy playoffs. But for now, I think he could definitely be type of upside starting pitcher 4, solid rock, starting pitcher 3 type guy. But yeah, we're at the end of the season. I think that's where we have to get a little worried about the innings for sure.
Yeah, he seems again as being a young pitcher. Obviously, that's going to be a problem. Figuring out, okay, how many innings are we going to pitch this guy? And he's somebody that, again, I think obviously if they're in contention, they're probably going to want to save too, right? That's going to be something that maybe down the stretch becomes a problem for everybody that wants to be able to use him when they're playing. So just some scouting report stuff that I've looked up about him. Obviously in AAA, which is everybody talked about, he dominated 17 innings in low A back in 2019. So he hadn't pitched since then in low A, but in 18 AAA innings this year, he had a 40.9% strikeout rate and a 4.5% walk rate, a 0.5 ERA. So he was just absolutely dominating AAA pitching. He pitched 6 scoreless innings in that first Yankees start with 2 hits, 2 walks, and 7 Ks. He's got a 4-pitch mix with a 31% whiff rate and a 35% CSW overall in that first start. The four-seamer worked really well, had a 43% whiff rate and a 40% CSW. But again, it was against that B Yankees lineup. So people definitely were skeptical, I think. So this was his second start against Miami. You can see the mechanics still look very fluid here. Mom is still cheering from every single time. The stuff looked good, and people were talking about, again, the comebacker kind of messing it up for him, because all 3 home runs he gave up in his next start came after the comebacker there. And again, he did labor through those 3 1/3 innings against the Marlins. Fastball velocity was down about 1.6 miles per hour. He did still have a 30% K percentage through his 2 starts. So I'm thinking, again, just from my gut, he seems like a 10K per 9-ish guy. I have him as about a low 3s ERA for the rest of the season. I think the slider could benefit from added vertical movement because right now has a lot of late action that will work well for him, but the vertical movement on the slider is going to be extremely important for him as he tries to work on his changeup. Obviously, the fastball is working great for him right now, but he needs better stuff with that slider, his secondary pitch there. So Alek Manoah, do you think he's worth all the fab, Micah?
I think he could be. I think it's possible. We don't know. We don't know for sure yet, but I think it's possible. Gotta be patient with this guy. All these type of rookies.
Oh yeah, for sure. And with that being said, we got to go to another guy here who was pretty hyped up, I think, when he was first called up, and it kind of stinks because you have your debut ruined because you have an even bigger prospect called up that exact same day, and that's Logan Gilbert. So obviously, again, Logan Gilbert, Alek Manoah, probably the two prized arms right now for this 2021 rookie class here. Michael, what are your thoughts about Logan Gilbert and what you've seen from him so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's always been like a guy that can throw strikes and a guy that has, a couple of plus pitches. So, I mean, in his first couple starts, he was kind of, hard pitch heavy. He wasn't really throwing a lot of his secondary pitches. I think that was intentional. He was just trying to get that feel for his fastball. And then once he got the feel for his fastball, he started incorporating more and more of his slider, curveball, and not much of his changeup yet, but I think that'll be coming too. So I think in his last start, didn't he go like 5-6 innings pitch, and he had I think it's the best start of his MLB career from a result standpoint. So I mean, he'll continue to get better and better as he gets more experience for sure.
Yeah, you said it. He got his best start as his last start. He'd given up 4 earned runs his first start, 3 and then 2 and 2. But the first 2 earned runs was in 4 innings, and this last one was in 6 to give him his first quality start. And he's not walking guys, which I think is a really good thing already in his young career. He's in the top 5% of the league in that category. His hard hit percentage is 53%, which is no bueno, though. I'm not liking how hard he's getting hit. Bueno. Are you encouraged the growth we've seen through 4 starts, right? He's projected by scouts as a high-end number 2 starter. Do you think he's going to be usable in fantasy in 2021?
Yeah, I think he's a guy that you definitely want on your bench. I don't want to drop him, not at all. I think he'll be you look at most waiver wires, you're really not going to find much more better upside than Logan Gilbert. So I mean, just stash him on your bench, and just hold him until you start to get things figured out. He's already on, he's on a good track right now to just have some consistent starts back to back. So continue to hold him for sure.
Now, when you say hold, how do you feel do you feel in 10-team leagues, 12-team leagues that you need to hold him, or is it just 15-teamers, you think?
I say 12 plus. 10-teamer, depending on if you need starting pitcher help, I'd hold on to him, but definitely 12-teaming up, I'd hold for sure.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, and again, just some little scouting on him that just from what I've read, he is from, Mike, I didn't know if you know this, he's from Stetson University, which produced Corey Kluber and Jacob deGrom. So
where's this located? Stetson University.
You know what? That's a really good question. I'm not sure what state it's in, but if you produce pitchers like that, you caught my attention.
For sure.
But he's got a 4-pitch mix, fastball, slider, curve, and change. And he's gotten better with all his offerings since he originally signed in 2018, as he's kind of bulked up a little bit and gotten used to kind of the major league aspect of working on your pitches here. Fastball can get up to 97. He sits in the mid 90s with ease. So if you've got that type of velocity and he's got extra life on it, that's a great start. He's got his 2 distinct breaking pitches. The Mariners prefer him to go with his hard slider to his curve, but he does throw both. And he's already focused on improving his already above average changeup the early part of last summer. So I think the one thing I've been looking at with a lot of the highlights around him is I think he was staying around the plate a little bit too much. I don't think that he was allowing his stuff to kind of let hitters chase outside the zone. And you can see some of it here where he is letting it go out of the zone some. But when you look early on, a lot of his stuff kind of stayed in the area where hitters could hit it. So I think as he learns to manipulate the zone better, as he gets more experience, he's just going to be completely nasty.
I agree. I love that analysis. That's not getting me kind of hyped for 2022. I think he'll be one of those guys that you can get like top 200, and he could be like a top 100 player by season's end. So I love that. Goal.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always fun to watch these young arms come up and you see the stuff that they have. And I love both their deliveries. They're both towering pitching presences, right? They're both guys that seem to have the makeup on the mound where you just think that they're going to be studs, maybe even starting later this year or next year, right?
One those like workhorse type guys that can go 6 innings any given start, that can get good strikeouts and have the potential to be one of those top 40, top 35 pitchers on an annual basis. So yeah, definitely strong futures for both of these guys, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, 2 top guys to own in Dynasty there. I think it's going to be it today for the Fantasy 15, examining Alek Manoah and Logan Gilbert, 2 of the best young arms in the game. High guys for Dynasty and redraft this year. Still expect some value for them, but it may not come to the point actually where you're going to feel like it's worth it. But hey, I mean, again, I think as you watch their growth develop here, that's going to be key down the stretch, and we'll see how it plays out. But there is no denying their Dynasty outlook for 2022 and beyond. Micah, anything you would like to say before we get out of here? Well, there it goes. That's Micah adding his thoughts on both Alek Manoah and Logan Gilbert there. I'm D. Mendy. I appreciate you guys checking out the Fantasy 15 once again. Make sure you guys subscribe to Triple Play Fantasy. The YouTube channel is going to be punching out a bunch of good content, not just baseball, football, and basketball as well. So we appreciate your subscribing. Make sure you check Micah out on Twitter at Fantasy Central 1. I'm at DMendio2. We'll catch you guys next week.